What is up, Vault Pro Scooters fans, Grape Gang, all you homies out there? As you can probably guess by the title, today we got a full review and even some riding clips of the Lindworm V3. Here's my Lindworm V3 setup right here. And I gotta say, I love it. If you're following me on Instagram right now, I'm actually riding the box cutter. So after I talk about this, you're actually gonna see some clips of me riding this Lindworm V3 when it was my mainstay. And if you know anything about me as a rider, then you know I love my pegs. So I'm probably gonna end up back on this. But yeah, let's give a talk about it. I'm running the black 23.2 long, and I was a little scared of it being too long for me after going on the siren. I was like, yo, 23/6 is too much. But the deck being 5.5 makes it feel not as big, a little bit more manageable with the head tube angle, and of course pegs, you know. I love my pegs. For a while, I was riding Radix wheels on it. I had to modify the spacers. I don't know if that's worth having a tutorial, but each deck comes with 24mm spacers for the back, so you can grind those down, but then you can't go back to 24 wide. But honestly, once you ride 4 pegs and 30 wide, either Radix 110 or the 125 12 standard, then there's really no going back. It's been a little hard riding 24mm again. The balance point on this for manuals, you know, your boy's got the Trinity Fender on there. Trinity Fender will work for it. You should take more effort than me. I was in a rush to get out of here and go ride, so I drilled the bolts really badly. Let's see, did I have to cut out the bottom? I did not cut out the bottom, but if you're running a fender on the top, I would probably recommend cutting out the bottom because it was a pain to get those bolts in. Let's go over the pros first. Pros, 5.5, I think it's the money size of the deck. Maybe you could do 5.75. 6 is just too much for me. 5 is not enough. 5.25, I could ride it, but 5.5 feels like the absolute best deck. I'm not the only one thinking that too. If you look right here, we got our boy Walter, his scoot all set up, you know, T-Fox Hot Wheels, that's how you know it's him right there. Solid balance point, fakies like a dream. And for how big it is, the whip's really nice, it's light back end. If you are doing huge drops and stuff, you probably will end up breaking this deck a little bit fast. I don't do too many huge drops. The back end of the deck is cut for pegs. Huge pro for me. If you're not a peg rider, you might want to just run back pegs and maybe cut it. I know before they started testing the V3 boxed end, Nick Tedrick was shredding 5.0s without any pegs, so it is doable. You guys are feeling the same as me now. It's pretty much pegs or boxed ends. Welcome to the club. Now you know why I've been riding pegs for 10 years, but it is possible. You can 5.0 in the back, especially if you're only doing 24. You do get a solid ½ inch of space right there. But if you're running the Lindworm V3 with a chopped back end, you're probably running pegs. It is slightly angled, but you're getting a good 5 inches between each of the grind rails, and they are a solid 1.5 inches wide on each. So it's not a completely flat bottom, but it is still pretty darn wide and pretty darn flat. I think flat bottom decks do grind a little bit better for board slides, but I didn't notice a huge difference. The welds in the bottom aren't in the way at all when you're grinding. The nose blunt space is pretty solid, especially with, well, that's backwards, that even shows you. Backwards right there. Peg clearance, they planned it out perfect. Look how close that gets. And solid nose blunt space for 12 standard wheels. If you are running the 110/24, you're gonna have a ton of nose blunt room. It's got plenty of foot space, lightweight, really responsive. Been one of my favorite decks I've ever ridden for sure. Black, polished, 2 sizes, the 21 inch if you're running the 110 wheels, really responsive. My friend Austin Spencer, you might know him. Yeah, Top Dog Entertainment, wearing this for him. Kendrick Lamar. He was running the 21 inch with 4 pegs and 110 river wheels and titanium bars. That thing was sweet. If I wasn't running 12 standard or Radix, I could easily see myself on the 22 inch long. The whips were just that much quicker. The balance point was a little bit quicker to loop out, but super responsive and getting back kind of the way I used to ride, being able to throw that whip out of everything. I already kind of alluded to it, but one of the biggest pros is 12 standard. If you're a fan of 12 standard, your options are very limited. So the fact that I do like 12 standard, that's probably the biggest pro of it all, 5.5 and 12 standard. Now for the cons. I would say a slight con of the deck is since it's so light, the lifetime isn't gonna be the longest ever. Most Ethic decks do have the chop front end to kind of save weight, and then they do put a cap over it. After they cap it, they do grind down the welds. So after I hit it a couple times, you can see that's popping off. And if we look at the other side, that crack is finally starting to spread. But again, I've been riding this deck for 3 or 4 months. I'm not doing huge gaps to flat, but I do some stuff to flat. So it's not like I'm just riding flat and this is happening. You can tell I'm beating it up. Another con would be when you get the deck, it comes with the flex fender, again making it even more lightweight, but when it's completely fresh, this thing is quick to react. The clearance isn't that much and you are often scraping on this. So I would say that's the only thing I would ever change on an Ethic deck is right when I get them, I try to ride these, but it's worth a little bit of extra weight in the back end to drill it out for a fender, or if you're awesome like Pepito, you can go no fender, but I can't pull that off. If you are a box stand rider, that might be another con for you, is that right now it's pretty much meant to use pegs. But keep on the lookout. They are testing the Lindworm V3 box stand, and it should be available at the end of the year. So you gotta stick out a little bit longer. There's plenty of other box stand options. And if you're a peg rider, I hope once the box stand drops, they don't phase this out. And I mean, come on, Ethic, they're not gonna phase out. There is a slight edge right here at the top of the grip tape that isn't too finger whip friendly. I did do some finger whips on it. Yeah, so it is just a little sharp on that. Never got any blood going, anything like that. But it was a little uncomfortable. Not a completely flat side. And sorry if I confused you right there when I was talking about Austin's. Might have said 21 inch a couple times. He's running a 21 inch tilt deck now, so that's stuck in my head. But he was riding the 22 inch Lindworm V3. Very responsive. Good if you're a smaller rider. Paired with the tie bars. Great. And just to show you how much I did enjoy riding this deck, we went out after work, before work a couple times. Austin and I got some clips. Let's check it out. Great game. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell on that, but I'm having tons of fun riding the Lindworm V3. Can't wait to get back on it and see how much longer I can ride till this does fail. Every deck is gonna break. Box cutter, tilt deck, there is a warranty period for most decks, so if it fails really quickly, 30 days, 90 days, depending on the company, you'll get a warranty replacement one time. But for what you're getting right here, lightweight, responsive, 12 standard, 5.5, everything I was looking for in a deck, especially with the pegs. So I would say this gets 2 thumbs up out of 2. We don't really have a rating system here, but let's say it was on a scale of 10, 8.9, 9. That's my recommendation. And of course, if you want to get this, head over to TheVaultProScooters.com. Tag us in your posts, #TVPS. When you're out there riding, don't forget those lands and those slams. We'll see you next time, and let us know what else you want to be reviewed. We'll go get clips. We'll talk about it. I got a frog in my throat. I drank all my water before we started filming. Sorry guys. See you next time.